It's your boy Amreezy, and I'm back with another Road to Sorare Boss episode where we follow my journey in the wonderful world of Sorare. And if you're new around here, get comfortable. Here's how we like to do it. We like to get comfortable, make a cup of tea, drink your cup of tea while you're enjoying some Sorare chat. If you've not got a cup of tea, don't worry. You go to the kettle now, you make a cup of tea, you pause the video. While the video's paused, if you want to give the video a like and a subscribe, it'll help me out massively. Then we unpause the video, cup of tea in hand, let's talk Sorare. So we are in that first bit of the Euros where there's no games. As of today, I'm recording on the first day after the group stage has been finished. There's no Euro football. It is that weird 2 days where we're kind of walking around like zombies wondering what to do. There's no football to watch. What do I do? What do I do? So we're in that part of the Euros. It's been interesting. It's been an interesting Euros. It's been very entertaining. As an England fan, it's not been that entertaining watching England, but watching everybody else has been very entertaining. And if you've been seeing my videos so far, I've not really been taking the Euros that seriously in terms of Sorare Pro. I've been taking Sorare Rivals nice and seriously, playing as often as I can. I've won a little bit. I've not won much. I've won like a few boxes. I've got a few essence capsules. My first essence capsules in Sorare, so that's very exciting. But I've not been taking Pro too seriously, mainly because my cards and gallery don't quite fit that. And I didn't want to buy cards just for the Euros. I'm mainly focusing my cards, as usual, on the Mexican Football League and English Premier League. So with that in mind, I've been buying English cards, I've been buying Premier League cards, I've been improving my stacks and collections. This episode, I'm going to show you how my collections are looking because I've not actually bought any new cards this week. The prices just haven't been right for me. I have my, I'm almost, I think, ready now for the next season, next Premier League season, next European season. There's a few cards I want though, but I only want the best cards now. I only want those key cards that are going to make a big difference. I think I've got enough squad filler cards. Now I want the best cards. So I've not bought any new cards since last week. But instead, this week, I'm going to show you how my collections are looking and my kind of thoughts around that. So, as we always do, people, let's start off by looking at how I did last week in what was Sorare, June 23rd to 27th. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This is how I did last game week, which was June the 23rd to 27th. There is a midweek currently happening. I say midweek. The weeks have kind of gone a bit askew at the moment, but June 27th to 29th, I really don't have anything to report, mainly because those days there's no Euro football, so none of my Euros cards count. I've got a few Copa America cards, but even they don't have a lot of games for this week. So the last week, which I did preview in my last week's video, is June 23rd to 27th. And as always, I've been prioritizing the capped leagues because my only chance of winning anything is if 4 of my cards do really well, and the goalkeeper is going to be a DMP goalkeeper in all of my capped leagues for the Euros and Copa America. Best one was Cap 220 with 217 points. Not amazing. It was very frustrating that, I like Mexican football. I am actually an English person living in Mexico, so I'm very fond of Mexico, very fond of the Mexican football, Mexican national team. So I was really disappointed yesterday when Mexico couldn't win. They lost 1-0. And especially for this lineup, I was, not far off a reward, 72 points off a reward. I was hoping Jimenez would have got a big score. If he'd have got a big score, we could have maybe gone well. If Enzo Fernandez had done slightly better. So my Copa America boys in my 220 did let me down last week. Andy Robertson did okay. Kovacic did okay. And frustrating for me as well, Robertson and Kovacic both not in the Euros anymore. 2 of my best cards, I'd say, in the Euros have been Robertson and Kovacic. The other best card has been Cucurella. He didn't play that game week 3 because Spain rotated a lot of their players, but I am very confident that Cucurella will be a good card next. They've got a very good game in the knockout round next. So Cucurella, Robertson, and Kovacic have been my 3 best cards in the Euros. 2 of them are now out, which is going to be it's going to be really tough for me. It's going to make these chances of me winning any rewards in the promo during the Euros and Copa America even more unlikely. So the best one I did was 220. Robertson and Kovacic did well. Enzo Fernandez did okay. Argentina, I have been watching Copa America. Argentina haven't looked amazing, but they've been getting wins. They've been doing what they need to get through to the next stage. They haven't been like blowing teams away. They haven't looked like as entertaining as they were in the World Cup, for example. But They're getting wins. Enzo Fernandez is back from his injury, so that's good news. And then Santiago Jimenez, Mexico's star striker up front, didn't do well. I did sign this card with next season in mind, European season, with all of the rumors that he's going to be leaving the Dutch league and possibly going to the Premier League or somewhere else. So, I didn't buy him for Copa America, but, it was nice that I bought him a few weeks before Copa America, and then I can kind of get to use him before the European seasons. It's a shame that Mexico's national team isn't in a great place at the moment. They're in a little bit of a transitional phase. They're quite a young squad. They're not really at the races. They scraped a win in their first game against Jamaica. They lost last night. So I'm not hopeful about him, but I'm playing him while I can because he is still leading the line for Mexico. So that was the best team, 220. 240, nothing much to report. Jared Bowen didn't play. I thought maybe Southgate would play him because it was the third game. England had already qualified, and he has shown he likes Jared Bowen. He's come off the bench in the previous games, but he didn't come off the bench at all this game. It's very hard to predict Southgate at the moment. Cucurella, like I said earlier, didn't play. João Felix did play in Portugal's 2-0 defeat. That amazing game where Portugal surprisingly lost 2-0 against Georgia, big upset. And even though Portugal lost, João Felix did play the whole 90 minutes, and you can see from his score, 65, considering there was no goals or assists, is quite a good score. So, I'm hoping that maybe he was one of the slightly better players for Portugal. Maybe he gets some more game time now off the bench in the next games. I don't see him starting because, like Spain, like with other teams that had already qualified, they were able to rest players, Portugal. So I think the big guns are going to be back. Bruno Fernandes will be back. Rafael will be back for Portugal's knockout game. But I don't think Felix didn't do himself any harm. I think he could easily come off the bench in the next game. And it is Portugal do still look good despite that loss. So maybe Felix will come off the bench and do well in the next game. But, again, he is another card that I'm more excited about next European season as to where he goes next. Where is he going to move to? Who is he going to be playing for? And if he can be playing first team football, I think there's a player there still. So I'm excited to see what he does next season. And then Conor Gallagher did start for England. So I captained him in the thinking that I think Conor Gallagher will start because England had some midfield problems in the first two games. And Conor Gallagher did start. The only problem was he got taken off at half time because it didn't quite work. And then Kobbie Mainoo came on. And I think Kobbie Mainoo is now in that England squad. That is his spot to lose now. I think it will be Declan Rice and Conor Mainoo for the rest of the Euros and beyond. I think he's got that position now locked and there's not much competition for him. So not looking good for Conor Gallagher. He'll be likely coming off the bench maybe in 60 minutes if England need some fresh legs in the middle. But yeah, he's not one I'm too excited about for the Euros. And then 270, Daniel Munoz, a really fun card to own. I bought this guy for like £1 or £2 just before he moved to Crystal Palace. I bought him before he was at Crystal Palace because he was getting really good scores. Then he moved to Crystal Palace. He's been doing well for Palace, doing well for his country too. 72 score is nice, so I'm very happy with him. He could still be a good card during Copa America. Quispe at Peru, the young Peruvian midfielder. He starts for Peru. I know him from Liga MX, but Peru aren't doing so great. He's not doing so great, so that wasn't a great game from him. I think he got subbed off in the second half, so not a great performance from him. Pedro Neto, a little bit like João Felix, is one of those Portugal backup players who are good, but not quite first team for Portugal. But if they come off the bench, they've got pace, they've got excitement, they can always do something. So an 81 score from him, again, like Felix, considering Portugal lost, wasn't that bad. And then Quiñones is very similar to Santiago Jimenez. Mexico aren't doing great. Mexico aren't in a great form. These are their two main strikers, Quiñones and Jimenez. I've got them both. So I think it's good for the future. Right now, nothing to get excited about in Copa America from my Mexican cards. And also Quiñones, a lot of rumors he's going to be leaving America soon after Copa America and going to the Saudi League, which is going to make it really painful for me to own him. I'm not going to sell him just because his value of his card has gone so low now with the Saudi rumors that I think I just have to keep him and either hope that it's not too long before the Saudi League is on Sorare, or I just hold him because he's still young. He's still a young player. And I hold him in the hope that he moves back from the Saudi League in a few years, or I just keep him for the Mexico national team games. He should still, even in the Saudi League, be playing for the Mexico national team. So that's how my capped leagues did. There wasn't really anything to report about in the other leagues. I did okay in the Euro League. I did put out a team just in case. This was like a really gamble team. Again, didn't expect the goalkeeper to play Areola. Shaw did really well, 92 from Shaw. Paulinho, I thought would play for Portugal because I thought they would rest a few players. So he's not, it seems, in their starting lineup. But again, a bit like João Felix and Neto, like I said last week, I basically feel like I've got the entire Portugal B team in my squad. So I put Paulinho in here. He did okay. I thought maybe Luke Shaw would be back from injury now. Maybe the game 3 of the group stage, Southgate might give him some minutes. He didn't. It looks like Luke Shaw probably won't play any minutes at the Euros now. So that hasn't been a gamble that's going to pay off. And then Broja at Albania. I did think maybe Spain would rest players and possibly Albania could get a surprise result here. They didn't, unfortunately. Broja got 54, which is okay, but not great enough when I need all 4 cards to do well to get a reward. So, I was 47 points off a reward, which if maybe I'd have got a bit lucky with Luke Shaw's fitness, maybe if Broja had nicked a goal or an assist, I could have got a reward there. So I feel like I've been very close with the rewards, but the way I'm playing the Euros and Copa America is far too risky that I'm not actually expecting anything. So that's how I kind of did last weekend. I have recently been showing at this point of the video my new cards that I bought, but I haven't bought any new cards this week. Like I said earlier, I'm now at a place where I'm happy. I've got 3 Premier League lineups almost ready. I've got 3 Liga MX lineups ready, and I've probably got 1 champion lineup with the Premier League reject cards and a few of the European cards that I have. So I can probably put 1 team out in the champion division, and I think I'm happy with that. I only want now is a really good goalkeeper, preferably the Chelsea goalkeeper, once I know who that's going to be. Could be Petrovic, could be Sanchez, or they could sign someone. So I'm going to wait till after the Euros till I see who Chelsea are going to sign or who they're playing in pre-season as the goalkeeper. And then I'll probably go for that goalkeeper. And then I might do 1 big last card. I would really like Cole Palmer to go along with my Chelsea collection, but at the moment, that would be my entire budget left, would be spent on Cole Palmer, which might not be so bad. I'm just going to wait for after the Euros and hope that some people want to get rid of their Cole Palmer cards. And there's a little bit of time before the Euros and the Premier League season when I'm hoping maybe his value comes down. If England get knocked out early, which could happen seeing how they're playing, maybe people get frustrated and sell their England cards. Maybe Cole Palmer's price comes down a little bit and I can get him for a bit of a discount. So those are the kind of moves I'm thinking. So I thought this week I'll just show you how my collections are doing. My number 1 collection is Santos. They are my Mexican team, and this season just gone, I have been building this collection mainly from the auction. I did pick up 1 or 2 from the secondhand market, but most of these cards were bought from the auction, and you can see I only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more cards to complete this whole collection. I do have Preciado, who's banned from football and isn't going to be coming back anytime soon, isn't at Santos anymore even, so I'm not in a rush to get this card because he's never going to be useful. I do have him in from another season, so if you are watching and you have this version of Preciado and you want to swap him for the season before's Preciado card, I do have it in a good level. It's like level 9, I think. So I could swap it if anyone's interested. I might try to do that maybe next year when this collection isn't technically in season, even though it's not going to be in season for many more weeks. It's technically still in season, so I don't think I'm going to be able to swap this for my previous year's card, but that's what I'll look to do in the future. Then the other big card is Brunetta, who plays at Tigres. And again, it's just a case of me monitoring his price. I've made a few offers. I'm trying to get him on the cheap, but he would be a good card in Liga MX. He's a great player for Tigres. He is a good card. He's a young player. I've watched him play at Santos. I really like how he plays football. An exciting player. So he's the one I'm most looking forward to adding from this collection. And all of these guys, they're no longer in the auctions, so I'm gonna have to pick up them all in secondhand market. These 2, for some reason, never go for very cheap. I've seen him go for cheaper than that, so I'm just again being quite cheap with my haggling and my bargains, and I'm just waiting for these guys to go really cheap. I'll probably pick up Brunetta before the Mexican season starts, which is going to start in 2 weeks. The Mexican season does not have a long break. It only feels like last week they finished, And then next week, we've got their kind of season opener game. So the Mexican season will be back soon. I would like to get Bruneta ahead of that season starting. So I'll try and make a move for him soon. So that's my number one collection. I've got the logo. It's the only collection where I've reached the badge. And it's my Mexican team, so I'm very happy with that. Chelsea, my main love, my number one love, my English team. This is how my collection is looking here, and a lot of these players are playing in other leagues. This season from Chelsea, this is 2 seasons ago, 2002 to 2023. This Chelsea squad, a lot of them aren't there anymore, which is actually really useful for Sorare because I got used with Azpilicueta last season at Atletico Madrid. I played him a few times when Atletico Madrid had good games and he was in the first team. Thiago Silva is now playing in Brazil. So maybe when they have good games in Brazil, I can play him. Zakaria is playing in the French league. Mason Mount is at Manchester United. I'm kind of hoping that Manchester United, he gets back to full fitness in pre-season. Maybe he gets back in the Man United first team. Could we see some Mason Mount resurgence next season? If we do, for Sorare, if we do. So Kovacic at Man City has been a good card for the Euros and the occasional European game for Man City. Ziyech, I bought recently. I think he's the most recent card I bought from this Chelsea collection. He's playing at Galatasaray. He was at loan last season, did well, and is now signed for them permanently. So again, I'm hoping now that he's settled at Galatasaray, he's had a season, second season at Galatasaray, hoping Ziyech is quite an important player for them. And if he is, that's a champion card. Is that champion card? No, that's not champion card. That's a challenger card. It's one of the cards. Either way, I think challenger. I'm still not used to where the Turkish league is, but Ziyech is going to be a great card for Galatasaray. Broja, a lot of rumours he's going to be leaving Chelsea. Will he go on loan again? Will he move permanently? I'm really hoping he gets the right move. He didn't get the good move last season, going on loan to Fulham. He didn't play enough games there. Hoping he gets that loan move. Same with Fofana. On loan last year at Burnley. Wasn't quite the right level for him. So I'm hoping he either gets a better loan or moves in the summer. And João Felix, as I said earlier, hoping he moves. So I've got a few missing pieces in this Chelsea collection. Wesley Fofana, I think, is going to be a great player when he's back from injury. He should be Chelsea's starting centre-back with Colwill if they're both fit. So I've got my eyes on him. I've got my eyes on Kepa as well, because that's a goalkeeper who's at a reasonable price. The only thing is we have no idea where he's going to go. He could go somewhere like Saudi. He could go to a league where I'm well covered. If he's in the contender division, I don't really need that goalkeeper card there. But if there's slight rumours that he's going to get a move to, say, a champion team or another big team, I might be going for Kepa as to help the collection and also as a good goalkeeper card. Loftus-Cheek, I'd quite like to get. He's an okay scoring card. He doesn't score too high, but again, I'm hoping he's a bit more settled at AC Milan next season. He had a good season last year at AC Milan. Hoping he builds on that. Kante, probably not in a rush to buy Kante with him being in Saudi Arabia. Mudryk, again, I feel like Mudryk is really overpriced on Sorare. He should be going for like £5 or £4. But I think people that bought him for so much money because he had a lot of hype. He's not really delivering on that hype, and I don't see him next season really. I'd love to see him blossom and really come through at Chelsea. But from what I've seen so far of Mudryk, I'm not fully certain he's going to be that player Chelsea thought he could be. And Chelsea are rumoured to be looking at other wingers. So I can see Chelsea signing another winger and Mudryk's time being even more limited next season. So I'm not in a rush to get him. Pulisic I would quite like, but again, the price seems to be a bit too high for the scores he gets you. But again, AC Milan, key player for them. US, I think his price is quite high at the moment because he's in the US team and there's Copa America. Maybe after Copa America, his price could come down and I can have a look at him then. Aubameyang, quite an oldie, aging striker now. I don't know how many more seasons he's got left. I think he will still be playing next season in the Champions League. So he's a striker that if I can get for a good price, maybe less than that, if I can get him for maybe around £4, I might possibly go for Aubameyang. One more season, plus he helped with the collection. Havertz and Jorginho, both at Arsenal. Frustratingly, I did see these players when I was first building this collection, and they were like around, Jorginho was like £2 or £3. Havertz was like £4 or £5. But then Havertz just took off at Arsenal last year. Like, a few months into the season, he just got in the Arsenal first team and then shut up. And I should have bought him right at the beginning. But at that stage, I was focusing more on the Chelsea players that are actually playing. But I may have missed the boat to get Havertz for cheap. He still could be a good option because he still looks like he's going to be the main man for Arsenal, the main man possibly for Germany, although he's getting a bit of competition now. So I'm going to keep my eyes on him. If I can get him for under £10, possibly. But I'm not in a rush to get Havertz or Jorginho. But again, they are useful cards that are playing at other teams that also would help with my collection. And then Madueke seems to be like not many people selling him. As you can see here, there's no sales of this card at the moment. I would like a Madueke. I do think he's an exciting player. I've got more... I'm more optimistic about Madueke being a success than Mudryk. But I think Madueke could also leave or go out on loan. So again, keeping my eyes on him, keeping my eyes on the transfer stories and how it all depends on how Enzo Maresca settles in at Chelsea as well. We've got no idea who his go-to players are going to be. He might really like Mudryk. He might really like Madueke. If that seems to be the vibe in preseason, then I'm going to have to go for those cards because they're going to be playing first team for Chelsea next year. So that's how they're my main two collections, Santos and Chelsea. I do have a Necaxa collection as well as my kind of second team in Mexico. I've also got the Santos season from 3 seasons ago, the first ever Santos season. Newcastle, I've got 5 cards from Newcastle's team. I am looking at possibly adding Anthony Gordon or Isaac. But again, I would need those prices to come down. Isaac, I've seen around about £25, in between £20 and £25. This is a little bit... I've not seen him this high lately. He's usually been around £20 to £25. There are a lot of transfer rumours with Isaac. I think maybe if those transfer rumours die down, it does seem like Newcastle have put a big asking price on him of like 115 million. That might stop teams buying him. And if it seems he's going to stay at Newcastle, we might see a period where people go, okay, lower the price. He's going to be at Newcastle for another year. He's not going to move. I was hoping he'd move. I don't really want him for Newcastle. I'll list him for cheap. So I'll keep my eyes on him and Gordon. Not many. I'm not looking to complete this Newcastle collection. I do have a few, which is nice. The goalkeeper, Char, a young midfielder, Elliot Anderson, who came into the first team towards the end of the season. So I'm interested to see if he can kind of stay in that first team. Longstaff's kind of a squad player, really. Don't usually expect much from him. Callum Wilson, I am hoping leaves Newcastle and gets first team football every week. If he doesn't, he's a good striker alongside Isaac to play, like we did see last season. Was it? Yeah. Last season he got injured. I'm trying to work out when he got injured. He got injured last season. I bought him while he was injured. Then he came back from injury and scored like 2 or 3 goals. And then he maybe got injured again right at the end. So when Callum Wilson is fit, he seems to score a lot of goals. And I bought him for very cheap. So I'm quite happy to just have him as a when he's fit option or if he leaves. And then if I did pick up Gordon and Isaac, that's quite a few cards from this collection. That'll boost up the collection. And over time, maybe that'll get up to 3%. Like maybe mid-season next season. If I pick up Gordon and Isaac, we'll have to see. So those are my kind of main collections. West Ham, I'm also building a mini stack from there. But I'm not, again, a bit like Newcastle. I'm not looking to go crazy with these two. But if I can pick up a few cards here and there in the auction or second-hand market for very cheap and they're usable, I don't want to buy cards just for the collection like I might with my Chelsea one or my Santos one. With these guys, I would have to buy cards and they would have to be useful. So that's how my collections are looking. Let's now finish today's video by looking at how my lineups are looking for the next set of Sorare fixtures. Right then, here we go. This is how my Sorare lineups are looking for June the 29th to the 4th of July. It's a big 5-day game week, a big one this. So hoping we can get a little bit lucky, hoping we can scrape some rewards. European Championship, I have put a lineup. Again, this is the one I'm least confident of always. Shaw, I think, is going to be the only one that plays. Don't expect Bowen, Shaw, or Gallagher to play. Maybe some of them come off the bench. Ramsdale won't be playing as well. So this is just mainly a lineup to build up XP. The lineups that I think possibly I have more of a shot of getting as something is once again the capped leagues. Goalkeepers are all not going to be playing, even though Acevedo is in the Mexico squad. He won't be playing for them. I think he's the 3rd choice goalkeeper, so he won't be getting a game. So no DMP. It'll be DMP goalkeepers all around. 220 is where I put my kind of cards that I think I have the best chance of getting something from. Cucurella is going to be captain. Spain have got a really good game. Even though Georgia beat Portugal, I don't see Spain being the same kind of game for Georgia. Spain are going to be really up for it, playing their team that have been rested the game before. Cucurella has been rested, so I expect him to come back into the team, have a good game, maybe keep a clean sheet, maybe possibly get some attacking returns, make those forward passes like he's been doing in the last game. So I'll captain him. Enzo Fernandez at Argentina has a good game. He's playing Peru. Should be a good game. He's not played all the Copa America games for Argentina, but he did play the last one. So I don't know if he's going to fully play, but I think I have to take the risk with him that if he plays, it's a good game for Argentina and he's got a chance of getting a good score. And then up front, I'm going for both of the Mexico guys. I have split these guys up lately and put one in one team, one in the other team. But the thing is, when they both let me down and when Mexico have a bad game, it lets two lineups down. So put them both in the same lineup. If Mexico do pull out a performance, it's a big if, they do put out a performance, it's a tricky game. It's not going to be the easiest game. Mexico have struggled with their two previous games, which have kind of been easier or similar levels. So I have no idea what to expect. I just hope that after yesterday's defeat, Mexico are really motivated to win. And if they do, these two boys should be involved in any goals. So that's going to be my 220. 240, Daniel Munoz, like I was saying, really attacking defender, exciting defender for Colombia. They are playing Brazil, so it's going to be a hard game, but hoping that Brazil didn't win their last game in the Copa America as well. They drew 0-0. So I'm hoping that maybe Brazil are a little bit rusty. Maybe they're not quite firing and that maybe Daniel Munoz could take advantage of that, get an attacking return, maybe an assist. Who knows? Last Brazil game, João Gomez did play for them. I don't know if he'll play again, but because he played the last game, I'm hoping maybe the coach thinks there's a player here, maybe he likes him. So I'm going to start João Gomez for those reasons. And then up front, I'm putting two Portugal players that I don't think will start, but I think it's an easy game that they should win. So if they do win, Paulinho and Neto could easily come off the bench. And like I said earlier, I don't have a lot of great options here. I don't have a lot of Euro options. So I have to take punts that Portugal are winning 2-0. They bring on those two subs and they both get two more. They're both involved in two more goals. They win 4-0. That would make this a good lineup. And then 270, I'm going for my two LAFC players, Campos and Atuesta. LAFC have got a little bit of a tricky game, but it's a home game. So I'm kind of hoping because it's a home fixture and they're playing a team that are, I think, 3 places below them in the league. LAFC are doing quite well, but they are playing Colorado, who are also doing well, but not quite as well. And it's at home, so I'm hoping they do well. I am playing Quispe from Peru, and I'm going to captain him. So if Argentina do rest a few players because they've kind of won their 2 previous games, maybe it's a bit of a Portugal-Georgia type vibe where they're not at the races, they're not fully locked in, and Peru really want the win. Quispe might be involved in that if they do. And then João Felix, a bit like why I've put Neto and Paulinho in my team. João Felix is also in this team in case he comes off the bench and scores a hat-trick somehow. So those are my lineups for this coming game week. I'm more excited about the Mexican football season coming back in 1 week, technically, when they have their kind of curtain raiser super kind of cup game. Then the week after, Mexican season will be back. That's what I'm excited about. My Santos and Necaxa collections coming back out. Until then, I'm going to be seeing what I can get from the Euros, seeing what I can get from Copa America. As you can see, I'm making some long punts, but I'm having fun. I'm still looking to buy new cards for next season. Good luck with your upcoming game weeks, everyone. Let me know in the comments if you've got any thoughts, any feedback. It's always appreciated. I'll see you next week. Peace.